I am joined by none other than Will Wagner, the lead singer of the Smith Street Band. How you going, mate?
I'm good, guys. How are you? Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. So thanks so much for talking to me. Now I want to start off by talking about your new album called "More Scared of You Than You Are of Me." So far you've
Yeah.
released two singles from it: "Death to the Lads," which is a through and through banger, and "Birthdays,"
hmm
which has grown on me so much since its release.
Oh,
It's a
thank
very
you.
relatable tune.
Thank you. Well, that
um,
that song's about Hobart. Actually, I'm not sure where in Tasmania I'm calling, but
Hobart, yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that. So you can give just like a little bit of context behind that song.
yeah. So, birthdays is like a sort of love song. It's like a uplifting, happy love song, which is quite rare for me to write those, but stay happy all the way through. But yeah, I wrote it about sort of series of nights that I combined into one. One of those nights was at the Brisbane Hotel, and then the Elizabeth Street Pier, down in Salamanca Place in Hobart. Yeah,
Well,
yeah, it's a beautiful part of the world.
whenabouts did you write it?
Um, Trying to think of after what show it was. Maybe it was after the last time we played in Hobart, or I was in Hobart. I don't know. I tend to go to Hobart a lot and tend to not have huge amounts of memory of what I would do when I'm there. So it
Did,
could have been one of a few trips, but yeah, 6 months or so.
because I remember I saw you guys at the start of last year. You played at the Brisbane Hotel, and it was an amazing gig. It was my favourite gig I have ever been to. It was absolutely nuts.
Oh,
So,
wow,
do you
that's
think maybe
amazing. Thank
around
you.
then?
It might have been after that show, or it might, yeah. I mean, yeah. Let's just say, yeah, hell yeah.
Let's say
For your
yes.
sake and for the story, let's just say it's after that night.
Oh, it's very nice. You've been growing in popularity for years now, and you're as big as you've ever been, and you're playing to probably the largest audience you've ever had as well. Does this add any pressure to you when you write your songs?
Um, I feel like it really should, but it said it doesn't. To be honest, our sort of like rise or whatever to this point has been quite sort of steady and gradual. So I think like that stuff gets scary if you like jump up, you all of a sudden double your audience. But for us, it's just kind of been every tour we've done a slightly bigger venue, and it's felt quite sort of natural. So now we are at this point. I feel sort of ready and like kind of confident. I'm very hazardously saying confident, but yeah, it kind of feels like it's sort of natural that we've kind of got here. But then also like the fact that we're playing theaters and stuff on this tour is pretty sort of crazy and scary and exciting. But yeah, I think we're ready for it rather than like too daunted by it. But who knows? I could walk out on stage at the first show of tour and completely pack it. So who knows?
Because yeah, so I saw you early last year and you played at the Brisbane, and that was a great gig. There was a lot of energy. It was quite personal, and
Mm.
that may have been, well, no, it definitely was partly you, but it may have also partly been because of the space. It was quite a small space. And on your tour you're about to do in support of your new album, you're playing down in Hobart again, but as you said, you're playing theatres now. You're playing at the Odeon Theatre in late May. How are you planning on trying to take the energy that you have from these kind of smaller, intimate gigs and kind of reproducing it on a larger scale?
Yeah, that's what we're rehearsing every day at the moment to figure out. To be honest, it's kind of an interesting task, but I think we're trying to make the stage as sort of crowded and entertaining as possible. And I mean, it's still, even if the rooms are bigger, it's still going to be us four playing. I'm very happy we get to play in theatres at all, so I'm very happy that we get to try and sort of tackle it and make it as intimate and fun as we possibly can.
Mm. Well, do you prefer playing these like big theatres, or do you prefer the kind of really small, intimate gigs?
Well, I think we're very lucky in that like we do so much overseas touring now that I think that's another thing that makes us so sort of grateful and excited that the Australian shows are doing so well, because we'll do 30 shows in Australia a year, but we'll do hundreds of shows throughout the year all around the world, and some cities we do well, and some cities we play in rehearsal rooms, and we play on the floor and stuff. So we're very lucky that we have this sort of full varied life where we're not just constantly sort of slugging away at these small rooms, but we're not, getting too complacent and just assuming that we're going to sell out everywhere we go, which is nice. Like, as soon as when we're doing these big festivals and big theatre tours, start missing playing small shows, and missing like, being able to start the show and then just sort of barrel into the crowd straight away and get right in amongst everyone. And then
Mm.
we play a lot of those shows where I'm like, I would love to not have to barrel into the crowd right away and like have a bit of room on stage and stuff. So yeah, we kind of get a good sort of happy medium and a bit of the both worlds situation with that stuff.
Nice. Now, your songwriting never ceases to impress me, and you just seem to be able to point out endless just gold. And your most recent single, Birthdays, is a perfect example of that. And I know this question is probably going to be like trying to pick your favorite child, but what do you think is your favorite line you've ever written, or if that's too hard, your favorite song instead?
Ooh, that's tough. All I want in my whole damn leave this world more beautiful. Oh my god, I've completely forgotten the line. I have to sing the entire verse leading up to remember it. But the last line on "I Love Life," it's I don't know. I sing it every night. I should know it, but I'm proud of that. I'm proud of a lot of the lines on the new record. I think that like it's sort of as like dark and personal and honest and like vulnerable, I guess, as my songwriting's ever kind of been. And I really think that. I don't know. I feel so happy that all of the songs turned out the way they did, and there's a lot of lyrics that I do remember off the new record that I'm very proud of. But that shows how my brain works. As soon as "Throw Me in the River" came out 2 years ago, and I've already forgotten the lyrics. So.
All right, so I posted on Facebook kind of asking people what they wanted to ask you, and lots of people got very excited. Now, I've got a couple of questions. The first one I have is from Zena, who's the lead singer of actually a local band, Squid Fishing. And she asked, will you ever record Golden with the full band?
Well, look, tell us you can join the queue of people asking me that. To be honest, there is a recording of that song from maybe the Sunshine and Technology Sessions or something, which maybe my friend Mark Gibbons has, who's a music manager and music person. He manages the Heartaches, actually. What you should do is you should get in touch with the Heartaches and tell them to tell Mark to give this person the recording of Golden, because I think that maybe Mark doesn't have it, but I'd like it if he got a handful of emails about it. That would be quite funny. To be honest, maybe one day. It's a song that I'm proud of. I still play occasionally solo, but I think I am not the band member that needs convincing that Golden should get a chance. I think it's the other three people in the band don't like that song very much.
Oh, I'm sure you can convince them.
Well, they're stubborn dudes.
Now, someone asked, they were a bit shy. They just said, can you please tell them I love them? And I said, sure, but you got to ask a question. And they said, what is your favorite road trip food? Because you're on the road quite a lot. So what is your number one go-to food?
Oh, road trip food? First things first, I love you too. Cheezels. I love cheezels. I'm not even going to try and come up with a cool answer.
So underrated.
They're great. They're such a good treat. And we spend so much time overseas where you don't get cheezels, and you gotta get all these fake cheezelish products, and none of them are really good. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things about Australia.
One last question for you. Death to the Lads has been one of the loudest and catchiest choruses of any song in 2016, and it had people shouting it all around Australia, but I'm not 100% sure everyone actually knows who they were condemning to death. So I'd like to know, what is your definition of a lad for someone who doesn't know who one is?
See, to me, even the line "Death to the Lads" isn't about condemning lads to death. To me, the song's about sort of everyone needing to grow up and mature and kind of treat people better. So in my eyes, we are the lads as much as everyone else. But the stereotypical lad, I think it's a British thing, is just kind of a sort of loud, obnoxious bro who you don't exactly like spending time around, I guess. I'm sure there's many lad-related memes on Twitter and Reddit. I'm sure people can do a bit of research, but I think that's definitely where I thought of the line, talking to my friends in the UK about what they would describe as laddie behaviour, which I guess we would say is, sort of like jockey, broy, but with a sort of slightly more aggressive edge to it, I guess, is what lads mean to me. But the song kind of means, I don't know, it's a very sort of simplistic chorus, but in my head it means lots of sort of complicated different things in that. But I mean, as long as people sing along to it, doesn't really matter what I think it means. Everyone will find their own meaning in it.
Now, I lied to you before when I said it was my last question. I've got one more for you now.
I'm,
When you write a song, how do you decide what you want to do as the Smith Street Band, and what do you decide you want to do as a solo thing?
my answer to this question is kind of annoying, which is I just know, which I understand is very unsatisfying for you. But yeah, to be honest, like I kind of know straight away. Like if a song has some energy and dynamic and some momentum to it, I very quickly start writing it as a Smith Street song. And if a song is weirder or sadder or sort of slower, or I feel like would be good without any extra instrumentation on it, I'll start writing it as a solo song. But I mean, yeah, to be honest, like as soon as I think of like 90% of songs I think are Smith Street songs, even if they are sort of slower and quieter, because we've sort of been playing some slower or quieter stuff, especially on the new record. There's a song or two like that. But yeah, short answer to that question is I just kind of know. So sorry about that.
That's all good. Do you go in going, I'm going to write a solo song, or I'm going to write a Smith Street Band song? Or do you write it and then go, okay, so this is what it's going to be?
Yeah, I write it and then, I write it and I play it back and I can kind of tell what it's going to be. I try and, like, not think or concentrate even when I'm writing. Like, when I'm writing, I try and just let it kind of fall out without analyzing it, without trying to make it into this kind of song or that kind of song, because as soon as I feel like I can really quickly get in the way of my own songwriting, if that makes sense. Like as soon as I start trying to shape something or mold something into a certain kind of song or a certain genre or a certain sound, it becomes forced and sort of loses some of the like honesty and immediacy of my songwriting if I start doing that. So I try and keep things as like unedited and just sort of natural and stuff as possible, because I think that is what people relate to about our music. So yeah, if I sat down and said, I'm going to write a Smith Street Band song, it would sound like someone sat down and tried to write a Smith Street Band song. Whereas if I just let a song happen and then Smith Street play it, it becomes a Smith Street song. I don't know if I've explained that well or terribly, but that is my long rambling answer to that question.
Oh, well, you did your best.
I mean, yeah, that's what you can ask for, right?
Right, well, unfortunately I've run out of questions because I've really enjoyed this interview. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thanks so much for having me.